Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. So the Row just released their spring 2025 collection, and I actually did a thorough review when we saw this collection 6 months ago. I'll link it down below, but now we're able to see the actual products in real time as they are launched. And I remember when looking at this collection, I thought this was a bit of a different turn with the Row, but in hindsight, thinking about how a lot of the styles have become a lot more relaxed with other collections, maybe not so much in hindsight, but we see these collections 6 months in advance. Sometimes the themes and the ideas expressed, they may not be felt at that time, but when I look at this collection now, just as it is dropped in February 2025, they're hitting all the themes that we are seeing in fashion right now. Of course, it's done in the style and the way of the Row, right? And for this collection, I remember thinking how prominent the use of the plaids or the check prints, the flannel prints, that kind of print isn't something that I would immediately think of when thinking of the Row. We saw blue workwear jackets, very Americana, lots of denim, denim on denim. That to me is more like Canadian. The plaid and check is very Canadian too, but the Row is an American brand after all. It felt very relaxed, very American, very laissez-faire. But another theme that we are also seeing in this collection as well, ever since I think we saw Chloe under Chimena Kamali really bring boho back into the conversation. But I would also say, even if you just think of the personal style of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, their personal style for like the past few decades, even in, the mid 2000s, they were heavily known for that boho style. And I still think even to this day, they've always kind of kept that like touch of boho that feels a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more laid back. And we are seeing those themes in this collection here. The beautiful tiered lacy lingerie dresses or skirts, the silks, the layering, the skirts over pants. And I think the appeal about both of these styles, be it Western or boho, they both call back to a certain style, and they're also very comfortable. And I think they have managed to infuse both Western and boho themes that are very now into their minimalist framework, but I don't think it feels too on the nose. It's a little less obvious, but it still felt. Looking at the new arrival section, I would love to go through everything, but it's a pretty substantial section. But I just thought for today's video, we go through the handbags, and I'd also just touch upon like 5 other non-handbag items I just really loved in this section. So let's first start off with handbags here. Now with the bags that we are seeing, now because this is a spring collection, we're actually seeing a lot of raffia, so I actually thought we'd start off and talk about that. Now last year, I think they had such a great line of raffia bags, and we are still seeing that in 2025. So I'll first talk about the Mira clutch and raffia. I love it in this natural, I love it in this black. It has this like soft roundedness. Of course, does it remind me of the Bottega pouches a little bit from like the Daniel Lee era, but I think instead of leather, this also does come in leather by the way, but there's something about this material, specifically in the raffia, that looks so unlike a lot of raffia bags. This is something I feel like you would want to see and touch and feel in person, like something about that texture. The texture of this is finished in such an interesting way. Also, if you prefer the leather version, there is that, but it's like over 2.5 times the price. But that's the nice thing about the raffia bags at the Row. Like they're not as expensive as the leather iterations, but you can like still enjoy the design. Next we have the Soul bag. Now I thought this bag was just kind of hilarious. It has this kind of like basket bucket type shape, and it has sort of like a wider funnel opening. Also looks like a hat was what I thought immediately. And then of course I remembered how the model from this collection was wearing a hat like this. If you wanted to wear this as a hat, you could definitely wear this as a hat. You're on vacation and you've got a bag as well as a hat all in one. This is gonna sound really niche right now, but it's giving I hope this email finds you well energy. Next we have the Emily bag and raffia. So this is the style they had last year. Now I wanted to highlight specifically this new color, the mocha color. It's in this like very deep red, like burgundy, burnished burgundy kind of color. Very beautiful, a very also unexpected color in raffia, as well as I think summer bag styles in general. Some might say burgundy or like deep browns aren't really a summer color, but for people that wear the Row, they probably beg to differ. Of course, if you prefer like the more traditional summery or like neutral colors, like they've got black and tan as well. Next we have the Oregon bag. Again, this was a style that they brought back. Wanted to highlight this beautiful, very vibrant, very grassy, vibrant green. These bags did really well last year. Next we have the Estelle bag. Now I wanted to highlight this because this is in a new color. It's in this creamy wheat color. Last year we saw the espresso, but now we have this wheat color, and I think the silhouette is quite interesting. It has like a nice like rounded silhouette. Also just love this color with the texture. Next we have, sort of veering away from this category, but not quite leather, we also have the Row kit bag. So it's not raffia, but it's, you know, not fully leather either. So I'll just mention it here. It's like this nylon east-west tote kind of style. Has the leather trim around the edge, and what's interesting is the leather trim lifts up to like create those handles. It just has a very seamless look about it. It also looks like there's a metal internal closure or something like, based on that little like square stitching there, but it looks like because of that it creates like a dipped in shape. Next we have the Peggy clutch. At first glance it looks like it's just purely a clutch, but it actually does have a strap just in case. So for people like me, I love the chic look of a clutch, but just for my lifestyle, 9 times out of 10, like most situations I'm in, I just need like a strap just in case. So it's got that. It just kind of reminds me of that Margot clutch that we saw. I remember seeing like Kendall Jenner wear that, but unlike the Margot clutch, it doesn't have the side sangles and it just looks a little bit smaller. So it's just a little bit more compact. And again, the East-West styles are very much still very prominent. And I think the Row has done a really great job of also releasing a lot of great East-West styles as well. Next, we have the Ruth tote in ivory. So it has that woven effect, very Bottega, but the weave on this is a lot tighter, smaller and tighter. These beautiful rolled handles, also very seamless. I think this might look quite minimal and boring to a lot of people, but I actually think when looking at the design, there's actually a lot of like workmanship behind a piece like this, just with that like tighter weave, with how seamless those handles are made. Next, we have the India bag. So this again is a style that we've seen before, but absolutely wanted to highlight how gorgeous this beautiful chestnut color is. Again, love this color for the season. Again, for the Row, spring doesn't mean it has to be pastels. Like you can wear deep dark colors if you like. Next, we have the slouchy banana bag. So again, another style that we've been seeing, but just in terms of colors that we've got in the new arrivals section, we've got this brunette color as well as this military beige. These banana or like crescent style bags are something that we continue to see season after season. Another style that they have that is like this is the Juve bag. So again, banana-like in shape, but it's got this stitch around it that almost creates kind of the shape of a banana, has that like dipped in effect. Super comfortable, relaxed, casual, non-branded, no logo. Next, we have the Spring Backpack 11. I actually really like this design. Maybe it's because I'm like in the market for a style like this. Like I feel like I don't have a backpack. I feel this is something I could totally benefit from. The Backpack 11 is a style that they've had from the past. It's actually one of their earliest eras of designs. Like it's definitely over a decade old. What's different about this though is it's got this canvas trim and it doesn't have that metal hardware plate. I think it makes it just a little bit lighter, a little bit more casual. And this is why I really like the Row, because you have consistency. When we think about how these brands, they change creative directors all the time, and then like the aesthetic of the brand, if it doesn't fit your aesthetic, then you're forced to move and hop to another brand. This is basically an evolution of a design that they had over a decade ago. Next, we've got the large to-go crossbody bag, ultra minimal rectangular style, and then we also have this north-south version if you prefer that. We also have some new colors in the Park tote. Another new style that we have is the Marlo tote. Again, this is another style I'm really tempted by. I'm not gonna lie, if you're somebody that likes the Margot, but let's say you don't really like the sangles, this does not have that, and because of that, the design of it actually like wings out a little bit more, and just from like a functionality perspective, it actually gives a little bit more space. How stunning is this moss color? When just talking about the fall 2025 collection, recently we saw the Marlo bag also featured in that collection as well. Next, we have the Henri bag. So it's got like this grain as well as this like dipped in effect with the zipper. Next, we have the CC Minaudière in leather. To me, it's like in essence the size of like a wallet, but you can wear it like a clutch. It feels a little bit more ornate with that little metal detail clasp there, but it is basically the size of a wallet. Next, we have the Ray bag, very like minimal, more squarish in shape with the strap. It's got the top handle, but it also has another strap as well. And then finally, we have the belt bag, just more of a compact kind of pouch. Again, this is another style I feel like I could benefit from now, because I feel like these styles like the belt bag, the backpacks haven't been that much in trend recently, but if you live a more active lifestyle or you need to be hands-free, bags like that like make sense. Now, just some other things I wanted to highlight from this collection. There's so many great pieces that get dropped every season, but I thought I'd just talk about these 5 pieces. This is the Row, and know that there are some ladies that watch my channel and they're already buying these pieces right away, but I also know that there are some people where like maybe maybe they look at the row from like a point of inspiration. Personally, I'm not somebody that can have a closet full of the row. I can have a bag here and there, but I thought just talking about these pieces, because I think they are going to be pieces that whether we see it at the row or we see inspiration from the row, I think these are pieces that we are going to see more of. First item I want to talk about is the Herbie jacket. This is a silhouette that I think we're already seeing very popular in jackets, and I think it's still going to be popular in 2025. And it's like this technical utility jacket style. A defining feature of these silhouettes is just more of a prominent funnel neck, as well as the drawstring feature. That's kind of, I think, the key thing with these types of jackets. We're seeing these utility technical jackets that have the drawstring. Just the way last year what was very popular was the barn jacket. Personally, not for me. If I'm gonna be honest, a lot of this collection, not for me. I feel like this is gonna be a jacket style. There are gonna be other brands that also have versions of this as well at all varying price points. This is definitely something I think we're gonna see more of. Next, I wanna talk about a coat that like I feel is actually more in my aesthetic universe and style, and it's the Pammy coat. It's like trench coat and silhouette. It has this like really interesting like gathered wide shawl collar. It feels like equally like opulent and utilitarian in that it's like a trench coat, but it also has this like feeling of a robe, if that makes sense. Anyways, I absolutely love this piece. When I saw this, it was like look 2 or something. When we saw this collection, I was just obsessed with this coat. So next we have these mesh boots. I would love them in the ankle style. Again, this is something I would like to try on in person. For me, I don't know if I've always had the best of luck when it comes to shoes from the row. That's just like my personal experience. I do think they look quite interesting and quite different. I love kind of how it has that like T-bar effect. Next, I also just want to highlight this, the Desi top and the Ingram dress just together. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this theme around kind of this like boho look is back. Of course, we've talked about this in proximity to the Western styles. What I think is very interesting about these pieces, as well as just a lot of these romantic silky lacy dresses, this is the row showing how you can adapt this style, but in a very the row way. What is interesting to me about this is how the row has styled these pieces. They're layering these very boho romantic pieces with, I think, things that are seen as more like classically masculine is what I'm trying to say. The pleated pants or the pleated trousers, you wear like a lacy skirt over that. And I know that sounds really strange and bizarre, but kind of a way to adopt that, but not totally feel like you need to buy a whole new wardrobe because now boho is trending. Or just taking any of your dresses or skirts you have in your existing closet and just having like a lace skirt just like peek out. That's the thing. It's you want these hints, these peaks of lace, this idea of contrasting nightwear with tailored daywear, and I think you can create a really interesting look with that. Then of course you can be very Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen and wear like a flip-flop with it. Like boho isn't your thing, but you want to try it out, they have their version for that. Another item that is completely sold out is the Cull belt in Python. So I'm gonna highlight this one in forest green, but also love the black as well. But of course it's sold out because when you think about, I would never say anything from the row is like accessible, affordable, any of those things, any of these kinds of price points, but I would say relative to price points for the row, to get an exotic belt for 550 USD, it's not something I'm necessarily offended by. When we think of like regular calfskin or even a lot of these like snake embossed calfskin belts, they go for comparable, even like higher price points. I just think that like metal detail is quite beautiful as well. That sold out. Maybe it'll come back in stock, or maybe if like any of these kind of other retailers that sell the row bring this in stock, one to look out for. But if you're able to score a little piece from the row, I think this is also like one to consider. So yes, anyways guys, that's my video for today. Thank you so much for joining me in another one, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!